Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sash. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Hello, hotties, and welcome back to Smoke Sesh. My name is Hannah, your host, and I am so excited to be back with you all on this beautiful little Tuesday we have going on. I woke up this morning and I knew it was going to be an amazing morning because usually I wake up and it's like the sun shining brightly into my eyes, because if I sleep with my blinds closed, I will sleep until probably about 2 p.m. Yes, my brain will shut off forever if allowed to. No, this morning I woke up to rolling thunder and light taps on my window of a beautiful little morning thunderstorm. There is nothing better, genuinely, than a summer's thunderstorm. I don't care what time, I don't care how long. I love me a good rain shower. I love me a good thunder, especially when we're so used to just like the overwhelming heat that we have been experiencing as the world starts to burn. Anyways, I love me a thunderstorm. It really sets the vibe for such a chill, amazing, calming, relaxing morning. So I'm so excited to get to sit down and spend it all with you guys here. Thank you for all the love on my last podcast. Oh my God. That shit blew up and you guys have been so incredibly supportive. So genuinely, I cannot thank you guys enough. I thought me coming out and being like, I'm quitting my job was going to be like really out of touch of me. Like, girl, get it together. But in fact, may I argue, I think it's the most in touch I've been in a while, because sometimes you gotta quit your shitty fucking job. Sometimes you gotta look your manager in the face and tell them you're fucking up, you're an asshole, and everybody deserves that right. Everybody has that right, and you should not put up with bullshit if you have the power to get away from it. You do not have to stay miserable. You do not have to be miserable at a shitty job. You always have the opportunity to change, to grow, to try something new. I'm surprised how many other people were also going through the same journey I am, of just like, okay, this place sucks, I'm quitting, I'm moving on to something new. I feel like summer is a great time to just like reinvigorate your life and to really look at it from a full perspective of like, okay, but where do I want to be in the winter, and make adjustments accordingly. So I'm proud of myself for making that adjustment. I am proud of you guys if you are currently going through the same thing I am, for making that adjustment, and we are in this together. So thank you for all the love. Genuinely, it means the world to me. I was kind of scared going into work this past week, because I have to finish out my 2 weeks or whatever, and because I thought they were gonna bully me low-key. I was like, ugh, putting in your 2 weeks can either be like pretty fun and fine, or it can suck if management sucks, especially if they like want to bully you in any sort of way or be mean to you or demean you. It's like now they have full reign to do so, especially during your last 2 weeks, because they know you're not going to be there anyways. So I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I'm scared. And I got there, and of course, first thing I hear, Hannah, can I talk to you in the office? Okay. It feels like literally going to the principal's office. Like, what the fuck did I do now? When I tell you, my manager practically started crying and got on his hands and knees and begged me to stay. He's like, I'll do anything. I'll fire anybody. I don't give a fuck. Like, we genuinely cannot afford to lose you. And I'm like, I know. Yes. I love to see it, but also like, stand up. This is weird. So we came to some agreements, which is nice. We also had a pretty good conversation of him just being like, I see you and I hear you. And I do appreciate that and value that, especially as somebody who, like, I'll take a couple fucking punches to the face. You know what I mean? I'm a strong girl. I'm a girl who like is not just gonna lay down and die and quit. If somebody's being mean to me, it's like, whatever. I really don't give a fuck. I will, like I said, take a couple metaphorically punches to the face. I can handle myself. I can do my own thing. But eventually it becomes too much. So I appreciate when somebody's like, nah, you've been through the ringer. Like, I see you, I hear you, I understand you, and I want to just like show appreciation for how much work you've done. Like, thank you. Thank you for seeing me at least. So we did come to some agreements where they're just majorly understaffed. So I am deciding to help out just a little bit longer. I've significantly cut back my hours so I can focus on creating content. And I think it is a really good middle ground as I am going through this transitionary phase. So I'm not just like cold turkeying myself off this job. I am able to like work maybe a shift or two a week, keep running their social media for a little bit as I adjust to my full-time content schedule. I do prefer a gradual shift in my life. I really, if I can avoid it, don't like a harsh, quick turnaround kind of shift. So I think this works really well for me. I think it works really well for them, and I am glad that we were able to kind of come to that agreement and come to that conclusion where it's like, all right, we're finishing you out here, you know, we're slowly phasing you out, but still like, you know, I'm helping myself out along the way, and they're able to get some help as well. Like, I don't mind, you know, it's not that I absolutely hate the goddamn place. I hate some people there, but shit, if you're going to throw them out and keep me there, I'll stick around. I'll see what else you can do for me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that that's working out, and I'm glad that I am able to kind of like one foot in front of the other, slowly work my way towards my big goals and content creation full time. Thank you guys so much as well for all the love on the vlogs recently. You guys have really been enjoying that. Like I've said before, I do upload the vlogs early on the Patreon. So if you're like content, which is how I am when it comes to like my favorite creators, I'm like, I need all the content in the world. Join the Patreon. It's upload early every single week, but for everybody else, it's uploaded on Sunday on my vlog channel, Hannah Marlene 444 on YouTube. This past week I did just like a little wake and bake vlog with me, just like get ready, show my life. We went on a walk, we had some good food, we smoked a little bit, we chatted life, love, everything else in between. And yeah, lots more fun content coming soon. Actually, in fact, I'm going to a psychic tomorrow, and I'm gonna vlog that, and that's gonna be this week's. I don't know, listen, I love a good psychic. Anybody else love a good psychic? I personally love a good psychic. Sometimes I feel like I need a psychic more than I need therapy. So when I'm feeling that way, I'm like, okay, let's book it. Let's lock down, because I do some psychic work with myself when it comes to like tarot cards and tarot reading, and I do love that, absolutely. But sometimes the translation gets lost in my brain because like, hear no evil, see no evil. Like, if I don't want to see the signs in front of me, I am really good at putting that blindfold on and ignoring every fucking problem in front of me. And sometimes you need someone else to do the translation for you. So when the universe is reading you to filth, you're not allowed to close your ears because someone else is telling it to your face. So I am very excited, and I do appreciate when I'm able to kind of find a good psychic and see one. If you have never been to a psychic or like a tarot reader, I highly recommend. I love going to one. I think it's really good to just get new perspectives on life and kind of see how someone else might read cards differently than you would. So I have been going to this girl every once in a while for a long time in Kansas City, and she throws full moon meetups and events, new moon meetups and events, and I really like her perspective on life and how she engages in spirituality and the universe around her. So I'm excited to see what she has to say, and I'm excited to vlog it and bring you guys along. But really, I love a good psychic. They will read you to filth. I remember last time I kind of had like a crazy jump scare was me and my boyfriend were in Golden, Colorado at Golden Rock Shop. If you've never been to Golden Rock Shop, highly recommend. Fantastic little store for like crystals, rings, jewelry, metaphysical things in Colorado. And my boyfriend was like gonna buy a couple crystals for his family to bring back home as like a little souvenir. And I was just like walking around, you know, he's checking out, whatever. And I'm just standing next to the counter, and the lady like stops backing things up and looks at me and goes, I can sense that you've been wanting to be creative for a long time, and you're trying to start to trust in yourself. And I know that if you just trust in yourself fully, the universe will bless you completely. And I think you just need to give yourself fully to the universe and trust in it and your creative endeavors. And oh my God, girl, oh my God, girl, oh my God, girl. What? I'm so high. It is 9 a.m. Whoa. And you're reading me to filth in this random store that I was not prepared to even be read to filth in. Okay, noted. Sometimes you do need the universe to like yell at you a little bit and be like, okay. It's like when your mom tells you to clean your room for the 50th time and it finally sinks in. You're like, fine, okay, I'll fucking clean my room. That's how I feel sometimes when going to psychics, where it's just like, oh my God, okay, I hear what the universe is saying. Finally, I see you. Let me follow through. So I am excited for that so much. Also, you guys, I have to be a brave woman and sit down and give you guys genuinely a formal apology. I did not realize I did this until the podcast went up, and then I was like, oh fuck, I can't edit the podcast. It's kind of like once it's up, it's up. I did not mean to spoil Love Island for some of you guys, and genuinely I am incredibly sorry. I just assumed like it had been spoiled for you online, and you know what, an assumption, you know what it does, it makes an ass out of you and me. So I need to stop doing that. Maybe I was just too excited and running my big mouth. Actually, that's exactly what happened. Genuinely so sorry if I spoiled the most recent season of Love Island for you guys. That was my bad. So right, it was too early. It was like 4 days after it aired. Genuinely, I'm really sorry, and I have learned my lesson now. Zip your lip, especially about like recent things. Let people experience that on their own. But I got at least like 10 comments like, girl, no, you spoiled Love Island for me. Oh, and I hate being a spoiler. I hate being that girl. I really am sorry. So please, if you can forgive me, I've learned my lesson, and I never, ever will spoil anything else on this podcast ever again. Seriously. Sometimes you have to live and learn, and thank you for living and learning through that lesson with me here today. Now, speaking of no spoilers, we have to talk something. I saw Superman this past week, and you guys, you know what? Oh, you don't have anything to do this week? Guess what? I'm setting a date, me and you. Actually, just you, but I'll be there spiritually. We are going to see Superman, okay? You're going to go buy your ticket online. You're going to get your little popcorn, get your little drink, eat a little edible, and sit your ass down in theaters and watch Superman. Because wow, oh wow. Okay, confessionals. I am a huge nerd. I'm a massive nerd. I don't think I've ever shared this side of myself with you guys, but especially when I was younger, like in my tween years, I got really into the DC universe, like deeply into comic book DC universe. And the thing about being a DC fan is we have had nothing good ever, unfortunately. Like there's some good movies here and there, but the DC universe has so many great superheroes and so many great storylines, and they just have fallen through every single fucking time. Every time. And this is why I'm okay with disappointment in this life, because sometimes it just makes you hold out for something better in the future. And you know what? Superman has completely reinvigorated me and gotten me so excited to see where the DC universe takes. Listen, you Marvel's fans out there have been so spoiled. You've been so spoiled, and you're so lucky that you've had so many amazing movies, the whole Avengers arc. And listen, I've had a good time watching it, but there's somewhere in my heart that I'm like, but what about like Superman and Batman and all these other amazing characters that I want to see? But what about me? What about us? And we have been neglected for so long, and finally James Gunn is feeding us. I felt that hope spark up when the first Suicide Squad came out, and I fear that was simply because Margot Robbie, anything she puts her fingers in is just amazing, magical, wonderful, and I am a Harley Quinn fan for life. I love that girl down. But I feel like it was all drama. All the DC movies have been drama, dark, scary. Like, can I have a little laugh? Like, superheroes are weirdo, silly creatures, okay? We should be able to have a little laugh at that. And James Gunn's Superman truly completely brought so much inspiration and hope and just light into my life. I laughed. I cried. I had hope for the world. I saw good in things. The whole thesis of it is punk rock to be good. It is punk rock to be kind, to have compassion. And James Gunn is so right about that. Superman, that is my Superman. Absolutely. Not to mention that man is so fucking fine. So fine. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm ready to go see it again, girl. And I won't be wearing panties this time. Me going to the One Direction concert at 13, like, let me wear my best black lace thong. Let me shave for the first time ever. Me going to see Superman. Yes, literally. I love a big, kind-hearted, softy, muscly man. That is my favorite man trope ever. And James Gunn Superman literally nailed that on the head. Also, if you're the kind of person like me where it's like, I'll take any escapism I can get in this life. Like, I'll take anything where it allows me to dissociate for a little bit, preferably in a healthy way. The movies is where it's at. The movies is fantastic. I know I talk a lot about the movies. I love the movies. It is probably one of my favorite activities to do. Eat a little gummy, maybe chug a glass of wine, go in there, get a yummy snack. Ooh, buttery popcorn, fantastic. What's better than that? Maybe a little gummy, not the edible kind, but you know, here and there. A Slurpee, hello. And to just like dissociate in a theater and completely immerse yourself and lose yourself in a movie. It is so cathartic and so nice, and Superman is such a fantastic movie to do it to. Truly, I am ready to go buy tickets again and see it. 10 out of 10, 5 stars on my letterbox. Highly recommend. I cannot stop watching edits of it on my TikTok timeline. I kept seeing posts about it and I was like, there's no way Superman can be that woke. Oh, he is. Oh, he is. And it is so incredibly hot and sexy the entire time. It is punk rock to be kind. Absolutely. Anyways, you guys, have you ever sucked dick from the back before? Like, have you ever sucked dick from the back before? Me and my friends were talking about this and all the different positions you can suck dick in. And I feel like we're all so used to sucking dick from the front. But have you ever tried it from the back? It's a risk. It's a risk, girls, I will say. And I do think you need to be in a committed relationship to do something that crazy. Because genuinely, I think if you suck dick from the back, that man is going to be yours forever. Like, you're basically putting a ring on that dick. I'm not even kidding. But if you need something new and fun to try out this week, suck dick from the back. Have him bend over and literally go to town. I'm not even kidding. Someone asked and was like, are you a bigger freak or is your boyfriend? I do think we match each other's freak, and I thought he was freaked out more than me. He does have a higher libido than me, but I think I'm more freaked out. Like, I will get creative. Absolutely. Like, bend over. Like, fuck it. We only have one life to live, and you don't know if you're going to like it until you try it, so you might as well try it. Oh, we have fun here on the Smoke Sesh podcast. If you're new, I'm sure this episode's going to feel like a fucking fever dream, but that's kind of the vibe I'm on right now. We have a lot of astrology to get into, and then we'll get into your guys' questions, because I know you guys wanted to get caught up on this current Mercury retrograde, and also it is almost Leo season, which is very exciting. All right, you guys, astrology update. We are currently in the throes of a Mercury retrograde. I did a big Mercury retrograde write-up for my Patreon girlies. Come join, come support. Literally, we have so much fun over there. It's $4 or like $7 a month, or I think $8 or something. There's different tiers. Do what you can. There's so many different things that I upload. Come join. We have a good time. Smoke Sesh Shoddy. Patreon.com/Smoke Sesh Shoddy. Anyways. Mercury retrograde in Leo. We go through 2 or 3 Mercury retrogrades a year. So Mercury retrograde is not something that I'm going to sit here and freak you out over. Okay, we are prepared. We have been through this before. This is nothing new. This energy is genuinely nothing new to us. I see so much fucking fear mongering online about Mercury retrograde. Everything's going to go wrong, blah, 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 blah. No, honestly, I think retrogrades truly are like what you make of it, and sure, it may cause a little bit more chaos in your life, but if you can be aware of where that chaos is going to be and like what it's going to stem from, then you will be able to kind of adjust accordingly and make changes and calm yourself down accordingly. So retrogrades, what can we expect? We can expect maybe a little bit of chaos in the realm of communication, technology, interpersonal things, interworkings, things like that. Now, where it sits and what sign it sits will tell you more about like how specific are we talking about. This Mercury retrograde is sitting in the sign of Leo. So think ego involved with communications, like maybe communications going wrong because of ego. Think definitely like old flames resurfacing from the past. Okay. Revisiting old passions, creative endeavors, ego checks, confidence wobbles. And that's because Leo rules over self-expression, creativity, leadership, and ego. So if we can, adjust accordingly and be aware of these situations at hand, we can stay calm, cool, and collected and not let things explode as much as they usually would, okay? During retrogrades, to kind of, mitigate issues, I like to return to almost like a monk-like phase of my life where I'm just grounding myself as much as possible. I'm focused on like prayer and meditation and me and staying inside. That's how I manage Mercury retrogrades. And that's how you guys can manage Mercury retrogrades as well. But if you feel like, maybe you're letting your ego get a little bit too out of control, you're letting miscommunications overtake your life, it is not worth the stress and the chaos that you might be causing yourself. Release, let go with the flow of life. Simply put, just do the best you can this retrograde. But that being said, we're almost in Leo season, which is very exciting. Someone said, I'm feeling tons of creative energy in the air, anything happening astrologically, and I would say I would give that fully to Leo season. Leo season is such an invigorating, exciting, inspiring, fiery season. And if you're feeling those passions come back for life, for love, for creative endeavors, for self, I would give that fully to Leo season. I think Leos are so invigorating and so fun. They can take things too personally and they can get a little too personal sometimes. The ego, watch your ego now more than ever. But if you can harness that energy and put it into places that you feel will benefit you the best or feels the best to put that energy, do so, okay? Leo season is almost like a power up, okay? We're recharged, we're ready to go, we're feeling good, and we're ready to take life by the fucking reins and ride that bitch, okay? So yeah, focus on self-expression, creative endeavors, identity, drop the ego. This is a great time to reinvent yourself or look at yourself and ask, how can I grow? What do I want to achieve? And to not stop yourself from doing so. But enough of me rambling. Let's get into all of your guys' questions this week. Hey, Hannah, I love the pod. Tips for dialing back on self-analysis and overanalyzing. Ooh, great question. Fantastic question. I do think everybody here is probably a big self-analyzer. I mean, a lot of what we talk about is just self-analyzing and keeping ourselves in check, kind of, in comparison to the world around us. And I don't think there is anything wrong with being, maybe a little analytical of yourself or just like aware of yourself in general, because I think people who are not aware of themselves at all are spooky, like, girl, there needs to be checks and balances, but you can't be too over analytical or too like self-analyzing, because it can become a major problem. That's when we get into kind of like the policing of self, where it feels like you almost have that inner critic constantly watching you, and that's spooky scary, because you feel like I have no freedom, or if I do something wrong, I'm going to overanalyze it to the point where I'm just like a shell of a human being. I don't want any of you guys to get there. I do think it's important to, checks and balance, be aware of yourself, but there comes a point where being too aware or too critical or overanalyzing too much almost makes you feel like your brain is a prison cell, and I don't want any of you guys to get there. So here's something that I've learned, especially spending most of my early 20s thinking about myself and thinking about who I want to become, what do I want to do, who am I, identity, ego, all those fun things. I realized, wow, I've thought a lot, but I've kind of done nothing. Like, I've done some things, but all the things that I've been thinking about, although I'm thinking about them, I'm not doing them. And I realized, oh wow, You cannot think yourself into a perfect person. You cannot think yourself into that dream person you want to become. You cannot think yourself into that dream job. You cannot think yourself into that dream life that you want to live. Do you know how you get there? You act. If you want to become, that perfect person, the idealized version of yourself, if you want that dream job, if you want to discover anything about yourself, it's not by over-analyzing and really looking deep into yourself. I mean, sure, a little bit comes from that, but most things that I have learned in this life and how I've grown and how I've become the person that I am is from just making decisions, acting on them, and learning from them, either good or bad. You will live so much more of an eventful life, an invigorating life, a fulfilling life if you focus on action and not thinking. Of course, critical thinking necessary, duh. But too much thinking will keep you complacent with where you are now because you will be too overcome with everything in your head to even act on any of those ideas. Now that I've had this realization and I'm in my mid-20s and I'm like, oh, holy shit, now my goal is to act, to try new things, to put myself out there. Fuck it. Enough thinking. I've thought for too long. My brain is practically swelling in my head from all my fucking thoughts. Now I need to start acting. I need to start doing. I need to start trying. I need to start putting myself out there. I need to start going to that place, taking that trip, taking that class, saying hi to that person, saying bye to that person. I don't care. I need to just start acting, because through action, you will learn more from this life than you ever could thinking. There is a balance to everything. Like I said, I do think you should be aware of your actions, what they cause, aware of your thoughts, what they cause, but too much over analyzing will make you feel like you're living in a prison cell of your brain. And I know that because I've been there. I spent years of my life just in my head, and I'm tired of living in my head when there's a whole beautiful, amazing world out there to try to experience and to learn through. And the only way to do it is to just start acting, to get out there, try something new. It's a little scary at first. It is. Trust me, I know. But the payoff is so worth it, truly. Hi, Hermosa. What is an ego death, and how do I know if I've experienced one? Ooh. Talk about Leo season energy. Oh my goodness. I feel like when we hear the term ego death, we do think mostly drugs. Or maybe that's a me problem. I think mostly when people around me have experienced an ego death, it's usually drug related because that's the first time they've ever had their ego put into check. But me personally, you don't have to do drugs to have an ego death experience. In fact, I had my first ever ego death outside of drugs, and I also have had an ego death during drugs. So let's talk both. First of all, real life ego death, where it was just like a humbling by the universe, because that's what I truly think ego death is the universe saying, sit your ass down. I'm going to tell you really what life is about and put yourself in check. And it kind of puts you at that like baseline where you're like, oh shit, okay, I see you and I hear you. First time I ever had like my big major ego check was when I was, I think I was 20. And I've talked about this before. It was a major car accident that I was in where I was like 3 a.m. I drove to my ex-boyfriend's house because his grandpa had died, and I just felt so bad, and I wanted to go over to console him and to just help him out and just like be a good girlfriend. Like shit, goddamn. Can you blame me for trying to love somebody? Anyways, driving over there, you know, trying to console him, whatever. He was an asshole. So, of course, me trying to console him made him pissed off for some reason. Goddamn, a lover girl tries to love, like I said. So, of course, I'm like, well, shit, I have class tomorrow, 8 a.m. Like, I need to get back home. I could stay here, but, like, I live 5 minutes away from my school. I'm not going to drive 35 minutes when I could drive 5 minutes. So, it's like 4 a.m. I'm driving home. Dark highway, no one else is out. I'm listening to my little music, blah, blah, blah. Just like, all right, that sucked. Tears still streaming down my face. Whatever. Let me just get home. I'm used to the fighting at this point. Then all of a sudden, I black out and I wake up and someone's unbuckling me. Hello. And there's a police officer and he's like, you should be dead right now. Oh. Okay, great. Yeah. I got into a major car accident, not my fault. The police officer had parked in the middle of the highway with all of his lights off, and that's because there were cows falling off a yes, I live in Kansas. Hello. There were cows falling off a cattle truck of the highway above me, and the specific area I was driving around was like a tight curve of the highway, and he had parked right in the middle of the tight curve where you couldn't see his car on the other side of the highway. So I was just driving normally, and then bam, hit him going 75 miles an hour. Pretty much just like hit a brick wall going 75 miles an hour in my car, the speed limit. And yeah, crazy hot mess. You should be dead right now. I'm getting out of my car. It's 4 a.m. I have no one to pick me up. I'm like calling my ex, like, hey, can you please come pick me up? He's like, ugh, I don't want to. Oh, it's an inconvenience that I almost died. Cool, great. The police officer's looking at me like, goddamn, your boyfriend can't even pick you up. Like, what's going on? He takes me to the police station. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? I somehow make it for class at 8 a.m. in the morning. I tell my professor what had been happening. He's like, girl, what the fuck, why are you here? You're very obviously concussed and bruised and broken and you can't walk. Like, what's going on? And after all of that, I sat down and I looked around at my life and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing here? If I would have died then, I would have been so fucking pissed, because holy shit, I am not living the life that I want to live. I'm surrounded by horrible, toxic people. I was in the middle of my heaviest drug usage I ever could have been. Eating disorder, like hot mess of a girl, super depressed, just like, wow, life is not going my way. And I had that moment where it was very much so an ego death, a universal humbling, where the universe sat my ass down and said, take a look around you, decide if you want to be here or not. And I decided in that moment, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. I'm not happy where I am. And I think an ego death can be very beneficial in that way, where it really strips everything about you, puts it in front of you, makes you look at it, and asks you, do you want to be this person or not? And the beautiful thing about an ego death is you do have the option to change. You can see that, you can feel that humbling, and you can go, oh wow, let me do something about this. You're so right, universe. Thank you. Thank you for not killing me, but like, you gave me a second chance, so let me do something about this. And do something about that I did. Broke up with the ex-boyfriend, stopped the drug usage, focused on myself, focused on me, focused on living life. Paid off tenfold. The thing about ego deaths is you have to take the lesson from it. If you do not take the lesson from it, you are doomed to repeat the lesson over and over and over and over until you get it. And the universe will do some crazy fucking things to get you to learn that lesson. So whenever you face that hard lesson in front of you, you might as well learn the first time. You might as well accept it the first time and make the necessary changes so you don't have to keep reliving that shit over and over again. Now, I've also experienced a drug ego death. I think a sober ego death is very different from a drug ego death, because sober ego deaths are very much so like, okay, I see the picture for what it is. With drugs, of course, you know, things get a little bit mushy gushy. You're a little bit unfocused. You know, not everything is as clear as it should be. And I feel like when it comes to ego death with drugs, it is a major humbling because you're just so goddamn high. I had a drug ego death when me and my boyfriend decided to do 10 grams of mushrooms. Don't recommend. This was in the past. I don't do these things anymore, nor do I highly recommend them at all. Do not do this. Bad experience. Let's get into why. I have never been like so humbled by something before, where I am just like sitting on the floor rocking back and forth pretty much. And the thing about drug ego deaths is you get so incredibly high that you don't even focus on the high anymore. You're just like, why did I do this? Why am I here? Like, what's going on? And it gives you a moment to really look at the world around you and why you're in that position and why you decided to do those things. And it gives you the opportunity to be like, do I want to change, or do I want to be this person that's just here rocking on the floor over fucking drugs? Like, that's crazy. That's weird. Let's not do that. I do not think you need to do drugs to experience an ego death. I do not think you should be seeking out ego deaths. If you live the right kind of life, you really won't experience any. But if you're living your life not in accordance to what is best for you, I do think you will come into contact with some ego deaths. And what you do in that moment really will transform your life. If you take the lesson from it, if you decide to change, if you decide to, you know, get rid of all the things that are not helping you, if you focus on what is actually helping you in the life you want to live and move forward in that direction, then the ego death is something you can learn from and something that you can benefit from. But you have to learn that lesson. I'm begging you, I'm grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you. If you ever face an ego death, you have to learn that lesson and move forward according to what is best for you. Because if you don't, you're bound to face that lesson over and over and over again. And that's spooky scary. But yes, I've only faced 2 in my life. Hopefully I don't face any more, because goddamn, that was enough for one lifetime for sure. Someone asked, thoughts on marriage? Am I too young to get married? I don't know how old you are, but for me personally, I'm too young. I talked about this with my boyfriend. I think I kind of hurt his feelings. It had nothing to do with him personally, but he was talking about like rings, and I'm like, listen, I want a big rock, period. It doesn't have to be a diamond. Actually, I don't even care if it is a diamond. I just crystal. I don't give a fuck. I want a big rock because I'm a cave woman and I want a big rock. But I'm also like very young. And if I got married where I am now, I would feel like a child bride. Like I still am figuring things out in life. Like I'd like a house. I'd like to settle down a little bit more career wise. Like I want to be a little bit more like grounded before I get married, because I want to like fully focus on being married and having a wedding and things like that. And I just don't think I'm there in life yet, which is totally fine. Everybody operates at their own pace. And I think he was kind of like, oh, okay. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with you. Like, very happy here, having a good time, but yeah, there's some things that like, there's a certain way I want to live my life and certain goals that I want to hit, and I want to follow through with those first. And I think, everybody gets married on their own timeline. I think, marriage is wonderful and beautiful, and I do want to be married at some point. I don't know like what kind of wedding I want to have yet. I haven't really started fantasizing about that at all, but I don't really know your age. Are you too young to get married? I don't know. If you're under like 23, I think you're probably too young. I think you probably haven't been with that person for long enough. I think about my parents. I think they got married at like 21. What? Surprised that worked out. Congratulations. But like, it's crazy how young my like family members were getting married at. Like I think about my grandma who got married at 17 and then of course had an affair, because when you get married at 17, can you actually pick the right person? Probably fucking not. And it's like, wow, she could have avoided a lot of fucking drama if she just didn't get married that young, if she spent some more time with people. But if you're feeling societal pressure to get married, ignore that. My grandma, every time I see her, is like, where's the ring? Where's the ring? And I'm like, girl, chill. I'm still a baby. Like, I know you want to see me get married, but like, girl, take a deep breath. You should never let society pressure you into doing something. You should always move at your own pace and move in whatever pace feels right to you, period. Oh my gosh, Hannah, I need tampon advice. Use them twice, but they take time to get in. Oh my God. I hate a tampon. Can we confess? I hate a tampon. I'll free bleed wherever I go. I don't give a fuck. You're lucky I'm bleeding in your vicinity. No, I'm kidding. I know there's some men on here like, that's a hazard. You can't just bleed anywhere you want. Shut up, ugly. If you had to bleed out of your fucking dick for 7 days straight and just cramp all the time to the point where you feel like your balls are going to explode every single month, men would be bleeding left and right, willy fucking nilly. So I don't want to hear it. But I was a major tampon user, especially when I was going through my heavier periods, because I felt like they were easier to keep up with. But my God, do tampons give you cotton puss? Cotton puss sucks. Cotton puss is like, pussies are supposed to be like moist and wet and, like have some lubrication in them. They're not supposed to be dried out. And tampons will give you cotton puss because they're sucking everything up in there. They're sucking every single thing up in there. And sometimes that's not the best. Sometimes it's not the most comfortable. Sometimes it's not the greatest. But let me tell you my first ever tampon story. I don't think I've ever told this story. Fun, story time. Everybody grab your snacks. I was on a church group trip, okay? And I had my period for about 2 years prior. So the period was nothing new to me, but I was a pad user when I was first having my period. Easy. I love pads, okay? We'll get into that later, but I was a pad user, you just throw it in, rip it out whenever you're done, you can wear it wherever you go, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But the problem was I was on a church trip and our like free day was coming up, and our free day was going on a float trip. We were going on a float trip. The night before we were supposed to leave to go on the float trip, I start my period. And I think to myself, how am I going to go on this float trip with a pad? And what do I do? Because I'm just going to be bleeding everywhere. So I get the girls. I say, hey, girls, I'm facing a problem here. Me and the other tweens are like, okay, let's get it figured out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? That was the first time I was ever introduced to tampons. My friend was like, oh, well, you don't wear tampons? Like, you never worn a tampon? I'm like, no, I've never like shoved anything inside me. No, I haven't worn a tampon before. She's like, oh, it's easy. This is girlhood. This is girlhood for sure. She's like, oh, it's easy. I'll show you. So she like hands me a tampon. I'm in the restroom with the door closed and she's on the other side of the restroom. The other girls are on the other side of the restroom and they're giving me instructions on how to insert this tampon. And my God, putting in the tampon for the first time ever sucks. You're putting in like sharp plastic into your pussy and then trying to get it inside of you. It is just a hot mess, especially for like a young woman to have to go through. Kind of traumatic. Why the fuck is this the only way for us to deal with our periods? Anyways, she tells me how to do it. Put it inside you. Try and put it as far in as you can and then push the applicator in and then pull it out. You'll feel the string hang out. That's how you know you did it right. So I'm like, okay, put it in, push it in, pull it out, strings hanging out. Okay, I guess this is just how it's supposed to be. All right. It feels a little weird. Feels a little bit, like something's sticking out of me, but whatever. It's fine. All right, I'm ready to go. Put on my swimsuit. We're in the bus. I'm sitting there. The bus is bouncing around, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I don't know. It feels sharp. It feels painful. This doesn't feel right. I don't know what's going on. So we get to the river. They're putting us in the water. I'm like, okay, I'm going to submerge my body underwater and I'm going to stick to the back and I'm going to like feel around out there, see what's going on. Why does it feel so sharp? I reach down there. I feel around. The tampon is half sticking out of my pussy. Not just the string, the applicator is half sticking out of my pussy. So then I start panicking. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This isn't working. I have to take this out. So incredibly painful. What the fuck's going on? Cotton puss to the max. I'm in this river. I'm supposed to be having fun. I'm supposed to be like playing, splashing around. And then also I'm like, but once I take this tampon out, I'm going to be free bleeding everywhere. My periods are so heavy. What do I do? And also like, what am I going to do with this tampon? Because the tampon, I'm going to take it out. It's going to float. It's going to float down the river. It's going to float next to somebody. Oh my God. I'm 13 years old. Why am I burdened with all of these anxieties right now? It feels like an episode of Pen 13. So I'm like, all right, Hannah, lock in. There's some moments in my life where I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out. Let me lock in. I reach to the bottom of the river. I grab a rock. I pull the tampon out. I tie the string around the rock. Drop the rock. Tampon submerged. Done. We're good. But then the rest of this float trip, I basically just had to be in the water because if I had gotten out of the water, I would have just been like dripping blood everywhere. And oh my God, it was like a 6-mile float trip. It was the most anxiety ridden I've ever been in my entire life. Wow, being a young girl with a period sucks. But to this day, well, after that, I wore tampons throughout like my high school years and college. But now I have gone back to pads. I love a pad. I love a panty liner. A panty liner. I think they're so much better. They're so much easier. They're not drying the insides out because I think it is supposed to flow through you. You're not supposed to plug that shit up. Like, let it naturally expel how your body's supposed to expel it. It feels better. It causes less cramping. Tampons cause a lot of cramping, give me severe cramps. And yeah, if I'm home alone, girl, no panties, basically just wearing a pair of my boyfriend's boxers and free bleeding wherever I go because fuck it. Life's too short and being a woman is hard enough. I might as well just bleed wherever the fuck I want. But yeah, if you're having a hard time with tampons, maybe tampons aren't for you. Personally, tampons are not for me, and I do love a pad. And then I know there's a Diva Cup girlies out there, but that is just some technology that I am unable to figure out. And I feel like with my nails, I just like can't get in my pussy like that. It's just, I don't think it's going to work, but props to you. And also I've heard horror stories about the Diva Cup sucking IUDs out. Oh my God. Oh my God, if you're a man listening to this, go give your girlfriend head right now because she's gone through too much. Like, dead ass. You guys, so funny. First of all, we restocked bongs. They sold out in 24 hours. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Thank you so much. But I posted a picture of like just me holding the bong. Someone commented and it made me like laugh out loud. I think they deleted it, but they were like, Girl, there is no way you don't have a BBL. Me, you think I had a BBL surgery? You know what? Thank you. Thank you. Ass so fat. BBL conspiracy. Hello. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I wish it was a boob job conspiracy because in my head, I have like a triple, quadruple D's. I wish. No, I do not. But I'll take a fat ass. You know what I mean? It's all genetics. It is. If you're like, how'd she get that? It really is all genetics. And then also like being okay with a little bit of fat in your diet. I love an avocado. I do swear by an avocado for a fat ass. And also you can do like hip opening kind of stretches, aka back shots. That's my favorite hip opening stretch. Back shots, avocados, genetics, but that will open your hips up and put fat where it's supposed to be. Absolutely. No BBL here. If I had a BBL, you guys know, you'd be the first to know. You think there's secrets over here? I just told you the story about me tying a tampon to a rock and dropping it to the bottom of the river at 13. Like, no, if I was having plastic surgery, trust you guys would be aware. Do you practice glamour magic? Sort of. I think the magic that I practice, I mean, it has everything to do with me and bettering my life. And I think in turn, that is kind of glamour magic. But the way I live my life is just like one big glamour magic where I'm just like really focus on affirmations, speaking affirmations into a mirror, looking at myself and appreciating myself, honoring myself with like body scrubs, taking care of my body in that sort of way. Really just focus on self-care. I talk a lot about self-care, and I do think self-care is glamour magic. And I'm not doing like spells to make myself prettier, but I do perform any sort of spell work that I do in front of a mirror. So then I feel like it is more connected to myself. I feel more connected to myself and towards the ritual that I'm performing. But maybe I'll share like a little glamour spell with you guys on the Patreon this week. One that comes to mind is simply just reciting affirmations in front of a candle in front of a mirror. It's so simple, but it does work wonders, especially for just like how you view yourself and how you want the world to view you. The way you speak about yourself directly in turn has an effect on how the world views you. And I think that's what glamour magic is all about. Especially if you sweeten your words, if you put a bit of honey on your tongue and then say those affirmations to yourself in front of a mirror. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. I think my boyfriend doesn't like me. Have you ever been in this situation? Oh my God, girl, run for the fucking hills. Yes, I have been. And I was like, how do I make him like me? I mean, not us being in a whole year-long relationship, and I'm like, he doesn't like me. If you're Googling, my boyfriend doesn't like me, it's because he doesn't. And there's nothing you can do to change his mind. But I argue, why would you be in a relationship with a man that hates you? Because that sounds miserable and horrible and awful. In my opinion, I think a man should be on his knees practically begging for me in his life. That's just, I think, how relationships work best. For like straight relationships, I think they work best when the man likes the woman more than the woman. When the man is also a little afraid of the woman, okay? There needs to be checks and balances there. And I do think that there should be some sort of like appreciation that man upholds and upkeeps to a very high level for the woman, because women should be worshipped and appreciated. And I think if a man is not doing that, he probably wants to be with a man. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know, maybe in that situation. But if your boyfriend doesn't like you, he probably doesn't like you. And there's nothing you can do to change his mind. He's just a pussy and probably won't break up with you. So you might as well just leave his ass, dump his ass, especially if he's mean and ugly and horrible and awful. And go find a man who's like ready to crawl to you through the desert on his knees. Because that's what you're deserving of, babe. How often do you have sex a week? It depends. Listen, I'm in a long-term relationship. All right, let's get real here. When it was like early in the relationship, within the first like year or two, I'm talking every day, maybe 8 times a day. Truly. There was one time we had so much sex that my pussy was bruised. There was bruising like in between my thighs, and I thought my pussy was going to fall off the bone. Truly. Like, that's how much we had been pounding to town. Okay. And I can't do that anymore. In my head, I'm doing that, but like physically, I'm getting older. That was fucking crazy of me. Like, props to young Hannah for going that wild. I can't do that anymore. I mean, if that's where you are in your relationship, absolutely valid. Go ahead and have sex 8 times. But dare I argue, if you're having to put a bag of frozen peas on your pussy, you can wait a day or two. Okay. So, oh, this is a fun episode. Like I said, when I was early into the relationship, having lots of sex all the time. But, you get longer into a relationship, life gets a little crazier, work schedules are kind of off where it's like he's leaving for work and then I'm leaving for work and I don't get home till midnight. Like we don't even see each other for days. So realistically, we have sex probably like 1 to 3 times a week. Maybe once a week if it's like a really high libido week for me, which is always like right after my period happens. I'm like, get over here. Anyways, if it was up to him, it'd be 8 times a day. But mama tired, mama sleepy. And listen, all right, I just ate a full meal. I'm in bed, not feeling the sexiest because I'm full of fettuccine Alfredo. Like, I'm not in the mood to get back shots right now. But when I am in the mood, I'm like grabbing him and I'm like pulling him into the bedroom. So I think the key is, especially in long-term relationships, is when you feel the spark, grab them, get to work. But if you're not feeling the spark, that's okay. And, everybody has off days. Everybody has like ups and downs in their libidos, and don't take it too seriously. Don't focus on the number. As long as it feels fulfilling and connecting to you, that's all that matters. But yeah, realistically, 5 years into a relationship, we're having sex like 1 to 3 times a week. Now, if I was home 24/7, it'd probably be higher, but especially on those days where it's like he leaves before I'm awake and then I'm getting home and he's been asleep for hours, it's not possible. Sometimes I'll wake him up, but especially after a long day, I don't know. How to deal with no aftercare after freak nasty sex? What do you mean no aftercare? What are we talking about here? What? You have to have aftercare, especially after the freakiest, nastiest sex, okay? You have to have aftercare. And if man is not providing aftercare for you, even after missionary, if he's not providing aftercare for you, get out. Get out, run away. Because, listen, sex, I feel like the term sex is so, like, surface level. You guys are making love. Truly, that's really what it is. And that's how you should view sex, is making love. You are connecting, you are creating love together, you are bonding in a positive, healthy, uplifting way. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, sometimes you're trying new things, sometimes you're feeling very vulnerable. And especially after feeling vulnerable, you need that reinforcement of like, you were seen, you were heard, you were felt, you were uplifted, you were supported. And when it comes to making love, having sex, and being in a very vulnerable position, no matter what kind of sex you are having, you need that aftercare. Now, what is aftercare? Aftercare is just love and attention after sex that is letting you guys come down from that high, spend time together, and just relax, recover, rest. That's what aftercare is. Everybody's aftercare looks different. For me and my boyfriend, it's like, okay, cuddling afterwards, taking care of each other afterwards. You need some water. What can I get you? Things like that. It's so simple. It's not too hard, but especially with men who are so like porn brained, I think they get to this point in life where it's like, same as like jerking off. Okay, I jerked off. Let me wipe it up and then move on with my day. And I think men who treat women the same way they do treating jerking off, they don't deserve to have sex, nor should they be having sex with you, nor should you continue having sex with them if they are not providing aftercare. And aftercare does come very naturally if you want to spend time with that person. It's like, okay, just had sex, feeling the endorphins, feeling the high, slowly coming down, pretty exhausted. You're naturally going to want to cuddle up with that person, okay? You're naturally going to want to like, be close with that person and just like chill and close your eyes for a second. And I do think you need that no matter what kind of sex you're having. And if you're not having that with that partner, then I think you need to leave them, especially after freak nasty sex, especially after kinky sex. Like if you're slapping around and I don't know what you're into, like bondage or very, very vulnerable situations, even like anal, I think you need a little bit more aftercare than usual. And if that person is not providing that for you, they are not a good sexual partner, especially not a good sexual partner to be having any sort of like BDSM or very kinky relationships with. And the real people who are kinky, the real people who are, into the BDSM world know how important aftercare is. If he is not providing that for you, or she, whoever, gender neutral always, if they're not providing that for you, I do not think they are mature enough to be having sex in general, especially freak nasty, crazy sex. You will find that partner who's like wanting to go crazy, swing from the fucking ceilings, put you in a sex swing, tie you up, slap you around if that's what you're into, like fuck the shit out of you, and still be able to provide that love and appreciation and support and understanding afterwards, because that is needed and necessary, or else it can feel very soul-sucking. Yeah, sex is very vulnerable. Anything that you're doing vulnerably should be received and appreciated and uplifted and supported always. And if you're a man listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know aftercare was a thing, it's probably because our sex education, especially in America, is only taught through porn. And that's so fucked up, because like the realities of life are not porn at all. But then also like the sex education that the school system is giving us is very much so abstinence focused, where it's like, do you want a baby or not? Also, we're not going to teach you about anything except for STDs, so we scare you, hopefully. And like, that's not enough. That's not good. That's not healthy. That's not helpful. And I don't think men or women are set up for success to have like good sexual relationships. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I've never received aftercare, here's your sign. That is normal. That is healthy. That is something that you should be doing. That is something that also your partner should be open to. I don't think you should be having sex and then getting kicked out right afterwards. That is not normal or healthy, nor does it make you feel good. Trust, I've been there. So the best way to show up for your partner, especially for like a bonding moment, even if it is like, oh, but I don't want a relationship, I don't want to bond with them, I don't give a fuck. If they are opening themselves up for you sexually, you owe that to them, period. Is just to like pause, slow down, ask them if they need anything, take care of them, get them some wipes, whatever they need to maybe clean up, take care of themselves, grab them some water, and cuddle it out. You guys have to cuddle afterwards. I don't care if you don't want a relationship with them. I don't care if you're trying to set boundaries of, oh, blah, 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 blah. Fuck it. You can spend 5 minutes cuddling, especially if they put their heart and soul into that sexual escapade. Okay, yeah, you can offer your chest as a place for them to lay. You can run your hands through their hair. You can rub their back. You can say thank you. That is the very least of what you should be doing, okay? Someone said, help, I'm on the verge of giving up. You know what? Listen, if it's giving up on life, no, please stay here. Like, I'm begging. If you need help, go get help. Getting help was the bravest thing I've ever done. And truly, I am here sitting here telling you that I was at that point where I was like, there's nothing here for me. And oh, wow, the world opened up to me once I took a chance on myself and took a chance on actually learning to love myself. And you deserve to take that chance on yourself too. And the world will open up to you, and you will live such a beautiful life that you never could have imagined for yourself. But if this is just like a silly, funny, oh, I feel like giving up, or like maybe you want to quit your job, maybe it's like you're on the wrong path, maybe you feel like, holy shit, I just am doing the wrong thing and I feel like giving up. Sometimes it's okay to give up. Okay, playing off the thing of our last episode where it's like I'm quitting my job, even though my heart is like, I want to be here, I want to help them, blah, blah, blah. And I'll do a little bit here and there. It cannot be at this place forever. I understand that. I see that. And it's okay to give up on something. It's okay to be like, this is not good for me and I need to give up. Especially like, I'm a big hearted girl. And like I said, I can take a few punches. Like, I am not one to just lay down, to just like die, to give up right away. Okay. I'm not one to call it quits. It's whether it's a relationship, a friendship, any sort of thing in my life, work, fun, I don't care what it is. I'm not one to just like give up and stop trying. Like, I have that drive in me where it's kind of like, I don't care the situation, you better saddle up and get to work. I talked about this with my boyfriend. I'm like, would you want to survive the zombie apocalypse? He's like, no, I'd probably take myself out. I'm like, you know what, I give it a shot, fuck it. Like, I'm not gonna give up. But sometimes, especially when you're like a big hearted, kind of like try hard or just like hardworking individual, you have to learn when to call it quits. And I think I learned this mostly in my last relationship, where it was like, it's not working. He didn't like me. he didn't want to be with me at all. And I was like, but I can try harder. I can do more, blah, 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 blah. And eventually got to the point where I was like, God damn, I'm exhausted. I feel like I've done everything. I'm running out of options. I still don't feel loved or appreciated or supported. And I realized in that moment, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And in fact, maybe it is okay to give up on this relationship because I know it's wrong for me. And I did. And I'm so proud I did, because now I'm in a relationship that I love and appreciate, and I know it's good for me and it's healthy for me. Sometimes you have to give up on things because they are not meant for you. I also did this in nursing school. I was in nursing school. It was the hardest time of my life. Like I said, I'm not one to lay down and die. I'll fucking try. And I studied 12 hours a day. I did everything I could. I put my friends and family and love to the side, and I focused on studying and working, and I got those straight A's. I was in the top of the class. I did receive those scholarships, but I paused and I looked around and I was like, this fucking sucks. And it sucks in a way that, like, sure, the other nurses are like, damn, this sucks, but still I'm passionate about it. I'm working hard. I'm following through. But like, this sucks for me in a way where, like, I'm entering a depressive episode, and I am looking at my future and like the future I'm setting up for myself to be a nurse, and I'm dreading it and I don't want to do it. That's another situation where I was like, okay, maybe it's okay to give up. Maybe it's okay to like step away because I know it's not right for me. And especially like coming from two Gemini parents, they are anti giving up. You know, you say I'm stepping away from this, they're like, why the hell would you do that? What do you mean? Are you weak? What do you mean you're not trying anymore? And it's like, no, sometimes you have to learn what's good for you, what's not good for you, what you want, what you don't want. And when you learn you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, it is okay to walk away. It is okay to give up on that thing. It is okay to say, I am not supposed to be here right now, and to move forward onto a different path of what is better for you. It's hard to do, but it is a brave decision to make, and it will open your life up completely to newness, to exciting things, and to just like a better, more enjoyable life. Absolutely. I think giving up on things has completely 360 my life in a way that I never could have imagined, and put me on paths that are 10 times better than the ones that I set up for myself that just didn't end up working. And if you're feeling that in your heart and you're like, this thing is just not working, this person's not working, this situation, this job, this degree, this whatever, it's okay to redirect, to try something new, to go on a different path, to maybe give up on that thing that you thought was going to work, but maybe just isn't. You can't force something to work. And if it's not working, it's not going to work, and that's okay. But if you're giving up on life, don't do that. Don't do that. Please, for the love of God, like, please seek help. There are people out there that want to help you. Seriously, life is meant to live, and you always have a chance to try something new and to switch your life onto a better direction. Always, always, always. I've been an extreme drug addict. I've been an extreme depressive. I've been in every sort of bad situation you could have ever imagined for a human individual. And I have decided in those moments that I'm going to change. I'm going to try something new. And wow, the payoff is so worth it. It is so worth it. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Someone asked, would you let your partner go to a strip club without you? Interesting. This is funny because literally me and my boyfriend just had this conversation. He's going on like this big guys trip to California, and his friends are like all single and a bit more unhinged than him. Well, except for a couple are in like long-term relationships with girls very similar to me. And the single guys are like, bro, we're gonna go out, we're gonna get wasted, we're gonna go to the strip club, we're gonna go crazy, blah, blah, blah. And my boyfriend's like, I don't know, like, let me ask my girlfriend. Like, never done that ever. So, like, let me check it with my partner, which is how it should be if you're in a relationship, you know, especially when it comes to sex and love and things like that. Always check in with your partner with any sort of those things. And, you know, I overheard the phone conversation, and I was like, all right, let me go ahead and speak up. Here's the thing. Everybody has different boundaries in relationships. And I am not anti-strip club in any sort of way. Like, I have many of friends who are strippers, and I love the strip club. I love a working girl. I love the opportunity for women to like embody their sexuality and, you know, make money off of fucking men, because hello, if that's what you want to do, absolutely fantastic. I think if you were able to spin around on that pole or shake some ass, props to you. Like, that is amazing and incredible. And I see the artistry of it all, and I do appreciate it, and I love it. And like, I'm not anti-sex work, strippers in that sort of way, because I do think women should have autonomy over their own body and the choices that they want to make, period. And I've been to a strip club in the past. I've been to a male strip club and a female strip club in the past, and like, yeah, fun. I was single at the time, whatever. I'm out with friends, I'm having a good time, I'm partying, so I do know what they're like. So that comes to where I am now. My boyfriend's like, can I go to the strip club? And my answer in my relationship is a big fat no. Big fat no. Now, I know couples in relationships that are like, let's go to the strip club together. Like, we're going to go be with girls together, especially if like one is more bi than the other. I understand that. I see that in different relationships. And all relationships have different boundaries, and that is absolutely fine. That is absolutely fantastic. When it comes to me and my boundaries, I cannot envision a partner that I want to be with long term going to a strip club and engaging with other women sexually in that sort of way. I don't care if it's just throwing ones. I don't care if it's lap dances. I don't care if it's a private room. It's all the same to me. Personally, that's how I feel. I do not envision my partner going to a strip club. My boundary is I don't want my partner to do that. Now, when it comes to things that you are uncomfortable with, those are just things that you are uncomfortable with. You are able to hold your own boundaries and your own perspective. But ultimately, when it comes to a relationship, you are not allowed to control your partner. Your partner has autonomy. Your partner is allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, truly. They're an individual who can make their own decisions. But you are allowed, if that person does end up going to the strip club after you say, you know, I feel very weird about that and I don't really want a partner who does that, they still are allowed to make those decisions. They can either hear you and go, okay, you know, my partner would be uncomfortable with that. It would maybe affect them emotionally and physically, so I don't want to do that to them, so I'm not going to the strip club. Or they can say, okay, great, cool, but I want to go to the strip club. And they go to the strip club and they do whatever the fuck they want. Your partner has autonomy over themselves. They have autonomy over their decisions. You cannot control your partner by making rules. You cannot make rules for your partner, as in, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do this. I was very forthcoming and said, you're allowed to go to the strip club, but I'm allowed to feel how I feel about you doing that. And I know that I'm going to feel very differently about this relationship and about you if you go to the strip club, period. So when it comes to that, if he decides to go to the strip club, I also am allowed to decide to leave. You know, that's how it works in relationships and how it works with holding boundaries in relationships, okay? And for me personally, yeah, not into it. I don't think I would want a partner who goes to the strip club regularly or even semi-regularly, even for just like a boys' night. It's like, what's going on? Why do you need to go look at naked women together? I find that weird, especially if you're in relationships. I also have stripper friends who are like, no, yeah, I would not. Like, I'm a stripper and I even wouldn't want a partner who goes to the strip club. It's just a boundary of mine, and I know how I feel. And what is amazing about being in a healthy relationship is you are able to verbalize that boundary. Of course, they're able to make whatever decisions they want, but hopefully they will hear you verbalize that boundary and understand, okay, I see them, I hear them, I don't want to make them feel weird or insecure, or I don't want to make this relationship rocky, so I just am not going to do that thing. They have choice. They are allowed to have that choice. But no, in a relationship, I personally am not going to a strip club. I don't want my partner to go to a strip club. I'm not into it. It's just not my vibe, you know. I used to joke around my boyfriend. I'm like, if you ever go to the strip club, however much money you throw at them, you also have to throw to me 10 times. Kind of just like a ha funny, I'm not into it, don't even try it. But then it became a real conversation of like, no, the boys are going, you know, if I'm there, you know, should I go? Should I not? Like, are you cool with it? And I'm glad that we had that conversation so I could be like, no, not cool. If you went to California and came back and you said you went to a strip club, I fear your shit would be on the front porch. Like, go get it and get out of my house immediately. Because I'm a crazy bitch. And I know I'm a crazy bitch. And I know I have rules and boundaries. And you always have the option to leave if somebody is presenting themselves in ways that don't align with your boundaries. So yeah, at least we could have that conversation and come to some sort of an agreement. But yeah, everybody's different. And if you're a crazy bitch like me who's like, I cannot mentally deal with the anguish of my boyfriend getting a lap dance, like that seems no, scary, heartbreaking. You're valid, you're seen, you're heard. But also if you're a girl who's like, I don't care, like my boyfriend can do whatever, I'm fine with strip clubs, you are also valid and seen and heard. Whatever you feel, I just want to say, whatever boundaries you hold, however you feel about things, there's validity to them. And I feel like with the online discourse of it all, with everything, there's always going to be somebody telling you you're wrong, you should think this, no, you should do this. Truly, the only thing you should listen to is how you feel in your heart and what your intuition is telling you, always. And everybody's going to feel differently. And that's why I think you should listen to yourself before you listen to anybody else around you. But yeah, no, me personally, not into the whole strip club in a relationship thing. Single though, you go crazy, you go wild, you go have a good fucking time, you go throw those ones, make it rain on those girls. Like, tip your strippers well, take care of them, be nice to them, show up and support the girls. But also, like, in my opinion, if you're in a relationship, you have no reason being there unless that's something you and your partner are both very much so into. I'm at a point in my life where nothing's working out for me and I'm in a rut. How do I get out? Ooh, this is kind of jumping off the idea of like giving up. I have noticed, especially going through so many different seasons of my life, I think this is a great time to talk about synchronicities and feeling like you're on the right path. When you are on the wrong path, like you said, it feels like nothing's working out for you. It feels like everything's going wrong. It feels like your life is here and you're here, but it's not lining up correctly. The universe does that on purpose, okay? When you are on the wrong path, when you are like in a place that you are not supposed to be, things are not working out for a reason. Those are the universe giving you stop signs, turn around, no entry, do not go this way, no U-turn here, whatever fucking signs, road signs that the universe wants to put in front of you. It is physically telling you that this is not working out for a reason. Things are not going good for a reason. You need to switch up. You need to listen to your intuition and what it's telling you. Try something new. Go in this different direction. Scratch that idea. Put down a new one. Try something new. But obviously the direction you're going is not going good. All of the times I've been in my life where I'm like, oh my God, am I cursed? Am I cursed? What's going on? Everything's going wrong. My ex hates me. My car crashed. I'm failing at school. I fucking just broke my nose and my bones and everything's going wrong and going wrong. Everybody's mad at me. Things are going wrong. I feel bad about myself. It's because I'm in a place that I am not supposed to be in. I'm on a path that I'm not supposed to be in. And we need to make some very, very big changes accordingly to put ourselves onto the right path. And the only way to do that, you're not going to know what the right path is, but the only way to do that is to scrap what's not going good and try something new. Now, you will know you're on the right path when you start finding synchronicities, when things are working out, when it feels seamless. This is when I notice I get a lot of deja vu. For me, deja vu is me telling me I'm on the right path. The universe telling me I'm on the right path because it feels like I've been here before. Some people see angel numbers and that's how you know it's synchronicity, that you're on the right path. But the synchronicities will tell you if you're doing something right. And sure, in life, you can be on the right path and you can feel like some things are going wrong. That's very normal. It's very real. That's just real life. There's going to be good and bad no matter what path you're on. And if one bad thing happens, I don't want you to completely just give up on the life that you're living. That's not how I'm trying to phrase this. But I do think if you feel like everything is going wrong, every single thing around you is just bad, not good, what are you going to lose from trying something new? What are you going to lose from breaking up with that boy or trying that new degree or quitting that job or completely 360ing your life in some sort of way because you know where you aren't as good? or where you are is not good. You will only reap benefits, and I guarantee you will see more synchronicities in your life if you're brave enough to just try a different path. Like you said, you're in that point in life where nothing's working out for you and you feel like you're in a rut. How do you get out? Put yourself on a new path. Try something new. It's okay to give up on where you are now, not give up completely, and then put yourself somewhere new. Try something new. Listen to your heart. Test something out. Get out there. Make those actions. Try those things out. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to this life. If things are going wrong, you can make a change and you can put yourself into a new direction. But if you're not seeing the synchronicities and you're only reaping negatives, no rewards, it's probably because you're in a place that you're not supposed to be. It's because you're going down a path that's not good for you. And that looks very, very different for everybody. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's career, maybe it's job, maybe it's yourself and how you view yourself and how you identify within yourself. Maybe you need to switch that up. There's so many different things and only you can tell you what's best for you. Maybe you need to go to a psychic. They'll tell you. I can't wait for my psychic tomorrow. It's going to be so good. But there's always an option to change. There's always something to try. And there's always a new day that gives you a new opportunity to test the waters, to change your life, and to put yourself onto a new path. Absolutely. All you have to do is just be a little bit brave and trusting in yourself. And the more you do that, the more chances you take, the more action you take, the more trust you put in your intuition, the stronger your self-confidence will be, the stronger your trust in self will be, and the more benefits you will get out of life. But with that being said, this was a fun little episode. Oh my God, I had a good time. Did you guys have a good time? Did you have a little laugh with me? Did you find a little inspiration, a little bit of hope? Really honing in on the idea that it's punk rock to be kind and to show love. I keep thinking about the scene in Superman. No, I'm not spoiling anything. It's a tiny little 2-second scene where Superman literally saves a squirrel. Like, that's how good he is. I love that. I love that idea that it's like, no, being cool is being kind. Being kind to the people around you, being kind to yourself, being human is being kind. And yeah, sometimes it's a little weird. It's a little messy. It can feel a little awkward. It can feel a little bit off-putting, but that doesn't mean you need to give up on yourself or your kindness, to give up on your hope. Hope is everything. Inspiration is everything. And it's important to find that within yourself. And if you aren't finding it around you, create it. You can always, always create it for yourself. You can always put yourself on a new path. There's always an opportunity to start over, to kind of regroup. And I think that's so beautiful. It really is. Life is pretty forgiving if you give it the opportunity to be. But I love you all so much. If you want to see the vlog, I did upload a Wake and Bake vlog. Go check it out. Hannah Marlene 444 on YouTube. I will be uploading this week's vlog early for the Patreon girlies, plus much, much, much more fun things as well. The girlies know. Patreon.com/smokesesshotty. And if you want to see what I'm up to on Instagram at Hannah Marlene. But with that being said, stay sane, stay sexy, and I'll see you all so soon. Mwah.